a 2 goes to a 4. Shake and retreat beyond musketry. So basically, move back here.
And return to good order.
March 27th, 1863, the Battle of Cedar Crossing is about to break out along the banks of the River Kalachi. This battle is our first battle in our Possum Valley campaign that Dad and I have begun. I'm the Union player, and Dad is the Confederate player. Both of our armies represent about 26,000 troops on this table. Both armies are divided up into 2 corps, and both of us have a strong corps and a weaker corps. Both of us decide to put our stronger corps on our left flanks. This is my left flank, so this is my stronger corps. I am very able to get my troops into line and to start to press them in this orchard. I'm also able to bring to bear a number of my cannons up here on this hill. These cannons are basically the only reason that my line doesn't break during this game. I'm able to do quite a bit of damage with these batteries of cannons up on that hill. As the game continues on, both of us are trying to maneuver our troops so that we can get as much support as possible. My troops are lined up, of course, just straight across the battlefield. The battlefield is very flat, very open, and so this battle is going to prove to be very, very deadly. Dad moves his Confederates up and into rifle range, and so this is the first turn that we really have direct fire, or defensive fire, I guess, from the Union, and direct fire, offensive fire from the Confederates. Like I said, this fire, it proves to be extremely deadly. I'm able to gang up a lot of my cannons over here on this hill against some of his troops that are there in the middle. I'm trying to break his center here because I'm the attacker. I need to capture at least one of those 4 victory conditions, the little red dots out there on the table, and I need to hold on to all of the little blue dots that I have. Unfortunately for me, my right flank is my weaker flank, and it's facing his stronger left flank, led by Jackson's division. Jackson's troops are all crack, and so this flank really begins to take a pounding for me, and you can see that as the game goes on, it's no fun for me on my right flank. In fact, it gets pretty bad that I actually start drinking. Actually, I enjoy a drink during a game anyways, but this flank really does start to collapse, and Dad continues to keep pressing me on this side and moving forward. Luckily for me, this flank is a very messy flank, and so he's out because of my troops falling back and his troops moving forward. He's never really able to get a good solid line over there on his left flank. Dad does some pretty good maneuvering here. He continues to slowly withdraw his troops, and it forces me to slowly move forward so that I can keep my lines, but I'm never ever really able to bring my full force against him on his right flank, and that prevents me from having a breakthrough on his left flank like he's able to break through on my left flank. But you can also see that Dad decided to charge all along his line there. He has actually 4 charges this game. Most of them I'm able to repel, like this one. I push his troops back and hold. But unfortunately for me, on his left flank, it continues to be a bad story for me. He has crack troops going up some of my experienced troops or green troops, and some of them are, unreliable at best. And he also has me by numbers here too. So particularly in this charge, he's able to outnumber me 2-1, and he rolls really high and I roll really low. I think there was a 9 or 10 die difference here, and so this completely crushes that unit there. They basically disappear from the board. They're not going to be combat effective. for the rest of the game. And so they have to flee back to the little creek behind their back and behind the hill. He's able to do a breakthrough here. And so what that means for me is that big old Confederate brigade comes up on the hill and hits my dismounted cavalrymen along with their horse artillery. And he's able to break through on them as well because of them being so weak. He outnumbers them. They're dismounted cavalry. They're not prepared for a fist fight like regular old infantry is. And he's got a lot of bonuses with his troops being crack and his great division commander there of Jackson. So again, I roll pretty low. He rolls high. He completely breaks through this unit again, and he actually is able to push his troops so far that they go off screen here because they line up against that creek. Luckily for me, I did keep one of my brigades in reserve, and they are beside a couple of Napoleons, and so his breakthrough basically brings him face to face with a undamaged Union brigade along with a couple of Union cannon. That is going to be enough to stall that attack, and it's the only thing that really saves me over here on this flank. The other thing that does help me is, as you can see, his troops are all scattered about. He doesn't have a really strong line here. He was never able to kind of get his troops in maneuver, and actually this breakthrough from his Confederate brigade doesn't really help that. So while he has created a huge gap in my line, he's not really in a position to fully exploit that and completely crush my right flank. At this point in the game too, both of us have heavy casualties. I think both of us have suffered at least 30 stands at this point, and so both of us have a negative to our rolls whenever we're making them for morale. And then of course that's even worse if our units are disordered and such, which many of our units are disordered by this time. So by the end of the game, both of us suffer around 36 stands of casualties. Both of us each lose a stand of artillery. He's able to just slowly continue to pull back on his right flank, and I'm never able to fully exploit those units on that flank and really crush him like he was able to crush me. So Dad did a good bit of maneuvering there, and even though it really didn't feel like a win for him, he does actually end up with a major victory because he's able to capture that one of my victory points, and we're tied for casualties and such. And so just with all of those victory conditions in play, he's able to pull out a major victory here. So this, again, is the first battle in our campaign. It's a lot of fun and enjoyable, and we will keep you posted as we play more games. We'll talk to you later.